Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about elevators. That's right, elevators in Minecraft. I feel like this is something that once you've got a world going for a little while and you want to add some speed to your world, your builds, then elevators are the way to go. Or maybe you want to add some class. Some like, ooh, dang, you got an elevator in your house? Like that type of class, okay? That's what we want here with these elevators. Now, being OMGcraft, I like to take it easy, like very easy. So we are going to be showing off some very easy elevators that you can show off and that you can make in your world. This isn't any type of redstone that's going to take you 5 hours to memorize and build in your world. This is going to be very simple stuff, which I think is grand. So we're going to go from easiest to more complicated as we go further along in the video. And there are some pluses and minuses to each design, and I'm going to go over that in every single build. So, starting off, this is the easiest type of elevator, and that is a water elevator. And we have a whole bunch of different versions of these elevators. And it's using the same technique in all of them, which is bubble columns. So if you have soul sand underneath a whole bunch of sources of water, then that soul sand will create a bubble column over time. By the way, this is the only build in this series that's really usable on the Bedrock version. This build and this build are not possible on Bedrock or Pocket Edition. This build is available to be done in Pocket Edition. So using bubble columns, if you use soul sand, it'll make a bubble column that'll go up. So you saw this at the beginning of the video. It'll send you upwards. And then using the magma cube, magma block, then it will send you down. I'm just switching to survival just to show you one of the nice things about this is that bubble columns will keep your air full. So even if you're in here for a while, and by the way, these magma blocks will burn you if you don't hold down crouch. So you should hold down crouch as you're going down. But even in this really, really long bubble column, you can see that my bubbles, my oxygen level does not change, which is what we want whenever we're going through all this water. If you have a thing that's 5,000 blocks tall, which is technically impossible, you will not run out of breath as you are inside of this water elevator. Now, some things to note when you are making this. It's very efficient to go up. It's very fast to go up. But when you go down using these magma blocks, I don't really like it. It's a little bit slow, and you have to make sure you hold down crouch when you get to the bottom, so you have to kind of crouch to get out. So I have an alternative for going downward. So upwards, all good with these bubble columns. So I'm going to show you how to build it in just a moment. But going down, I have another option for you, and that is just to fall. And then at the bottom, you can see that there is some water down there to catch us in our fall. Now, this is a very specific design that I find better than any other water breaking designs. A lot of people will take water and well, I'm not in creative. I need to switch into creative mode. Here we go. 1 second. There we go. We will take water and they'll put it at the bottom of the elevator right here, and they won't have that water up there, which is great because if you're falling from a very high distance and you fall into a single source of water, then it'll break your fall. But then you're standing in water and you kind of have to like walk out of it, which I've never found great. So this design up here doesn't use water where you land. It uses water a few blocks above you to slow your fall. And as you saw, I did this in survival and I didn't take any damage at all. So how do we keep water at bay? And we are using these doors, signs, trap doors, or these fence gates to keep the water away from just spilling out everywhere, which will allow the player to walk through this area and get to the elevator. So just keep that in mind that you can use really any of these things to stop the water from flowing everywhere. Let's make one of these ourselves. You can build the walls out of literally anything. We are making it out of glass just because it looks kind of cool, and so you can see the inner workings of the entire elevator. But if you had something that you wanted to match your base, you could easily build it out of that. So start off by basically building a tube by covering all 4 sides with blocks. Then you need an entrance for your players, so you just go ahead and break that out, and you will need some blocks to stop the water from flowing. Technically, you really only need 1 side of this, and if you're using something like a door, you could actually just get away with slapping the door down. That thing is technically in the way, but if you want it to look good, you can build out the sides. Totally up to you. It is all just aesthetics. Next, we need to add water to the elevator. And the easiest way to do this is to go up to the top and put down a bucket of water and let the water flow down. Although there is a problem with this method. What we need in order to get bubble columns is water source blocks. If you didn't know, there's 2 types of water in Minecraft. There is water source blocks and flowing water. So this block is taken up by an entire water, and it is the source of water. That means that it's going to create these flows off to the side, and these are only flowing water. They're not actually the water source block. And so we need to make sure that the whole situation is water source blocks, and right now only this top one is. All the rest is just water flowing down from that source block. So you have 2 options. One, you can just take a water bucket and fill it in every single block and make sure that you don't miss a block. But a lot of people miss blocks, okay? It's super easy to miss blocks, so I don't suggest that. What I suggest is to take kelp from the oceans, so you get a little bit of kelp, and you can plant this kelp onto dirt. And in Java Edition, you can actually plant it on soul sand. You cannot do that in Bedrock Edition. Sorry, Bedrock players. Next, you need to take some bone meal. So here, we're going to get over here and go back over to this dirt area, and then bone meal this. And every time the kelp grows, it will grow and change the water flowing block into a water source block, which is exactly what we want. It is fantastic. So once you're done with that, just break the kelp. It'll all kind of float to the top. And now we can replace this dirt with soul sand. Unless you're already on Java and you did that already, then you just replace it, and then you should be able to see the bubbles. Be aware that on Java Edition, in order to see these bubbles, you need to be on, not skin settings, video settings, fabulous graphics. If I'm just on fancy graphics, you can see the bubbles do not exist. You might see like 1 or 2, but fabulous graphics is what is going to allow you to see all the bubbles inside of there. So now we can go up our elevator. Now on the downward side, it's exactly the same, except that you switch it out for magma. And if you don't want to use magma, like I recommend you don't use magma. I recommend that you use a water break in order to get down very quickly. All you're going to have to change your design is the same tube all the way up to where you want to go, and then grab, I suggest a fence gate, because especially not these trapdoors, because you may accidentally hit the edge of a trapdoor or that. So either fence gates or signs. Throw that down there, and now you have basically a cup, a bottom to your water. You can place that there, and as you fall, you're going to fall through that. It'll slow down your fall, and you won't take fall damage. So that is how you get down. One final thing to mention about these water elevators is that they have a small downside in that it's a little bit difficult to have multiple floors with your elevator. This one, you can see that I have another floor there, and all you'd have to do is walk in, be aware that you're gonna have to push forward, and then you get to the right floor that you want to go to. Now, this is a little bit difficult if you maybe had a floor in the middle and you wanted to miss that floor but get up to the top one. That may be a little bit frustrating. So it's not perfect when it comes to multiple floors on your elevator. Moving on to a design that doesn't require water and is perfect for multiple floors. So this is a minecart design, and in this design, you sit in the minecart, you look up to the minecart above you, and you right click. And now you are sitting in a new minecart, and the one below you is the one that you used to be in is below you, and you are in a new one. And you can click again, and now we are on the next floor of our little build. I can sit in here, click, leave, and now we have 2 floors in between us and the ground. In here, click, and now we are at the top. So this is a very easy way to go between floors. It does require clicking. You can't just like go in there and sit in there, but if you are used to being at your base, I could easily see you just going in here and going 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're at the 3rd floor. There we go. We're good to go. Oh, we got to go down. Well, I'll talk about going down in just a moment. So in this design, I maximized the amount of size in between the clicks. So as you can see, we kind of start off right here. This one I was just kind of messing around with, so ignore it, because all you have to do is go in here and click, and then click again. So right here, you can see that the space in between these trapdoors, and that's the easiest way to judge distance, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th block is another trapdoor. So you can move all 5 blocks basically, 4 empty ones, and to get from a different minecart to minecart. But it's raining! Well, don't teach you to rain on my parade. But if you were to take that down a little bit, even just by 1 block, so as you can see on this design off to the side, I wanted to show you A, you don't really need to enclose it, and B, if you only have 1, 2, 3 empty spaces, with the 4th block being the trapdoor, where this one was 4 empty spaces and the 5th block being the trapdoor, then you can actually go up, but you can also go down by clicking as well. So here, let me just show you again. We're up in the sky, and then we go down, we're lower, we're even lower. So you can actually create an elevator that goes up and down. If you do what I did, which was to maximize space, you can't reach the bottom one, so you can't reach down there. So you have to like fall or use some other technique to get down to levels. So that is how that works. Now let's go ahead and build it. To build this, you just need whatever you want your elevator shaft to be made out of. I'm using glass so that it is easy to see, but you can use anything just like with the other build. I'm gonna make it really, really simple because it is just super duper simple. So the first thing that you wanna do is put down your trapdoor and make sure that it's at the top of the block, okay? You can put a trapdoor on the bottom like this or the top. Just make sure it's at the top, because that top needs to be there to put rail on top of the block. And you can even open this, which kind of leaves the rail just kind of floating there, which is just a little bit weird. And this is the reason that you can't do this in Bedrock, by the way. You cannot put a rail onto a trapdoor in Bedrock, so sorry Bedrock users. Next, take a minecart, slap it on top of that, and then destroy the rail. And now the minecart will be resting on the edge of the trapdoor and just suspended in space. And if we want to go up and down, remember we need 1, 2, 3, and then that 4th block is going to be the next trapdoor. And then we're going to put down our rail, our minecart, destroy the rail, open the trapdoor, and there we go. Now we have 2 different floors for this build. We click in, now we're sitting in the bottom one, in the top one, and then we can left shift to dismount. Minecraft has gotten really good at dismounting, so all you need to do is just make sure that there is a solid block around for you to get off of. If there didn't happen to be a solid block in a reasonable distance away, you are going to fall. So we're going to do this again, but this time there's no place to really dismount. You right click and you fall down. So you don't want that. You do want a block around you. I might suggest like putting it right there, so that way it kind of looks like, ooh, nice. So we can go down, we can go, whoops, we can go up and then dismount. And now I'm standing on the block that I want to be standing on. So Minecraft is good at just determining, hey, there's a block that you can dismount onto. So use that block as the block that you stand on. Moving on to the most impressive of the builds. Oh, by the way, okay, wait, sorry, before we move on, I just wanted to mention the pros of this design is that you can have multiple floors, which you couldn't on the first design. The cons of this design is that you have to click to go between the floors, but that may not be that big of a con. It's not that big of a deal to just click to go up and down, and it's pretty fast in order to do it. Moving on, this one's pros and cons are that it looks super duper cool because it is an actual elevator that will bring you between floors using pistons. And remember what I said at the beginning of this video, this is going to be a simple build, okay? We are keeping it simple for you guys so that, you know, you can actually implement this into whatever type of Minecraft build you want. Well, I feel like my face is like glitching through there somehow. And it's really, really impressive. I mean, that is really the biggest pro of this. The con of this is while it is simple, it's more complicated than the others. And the other con is that it takes a while. It is not a very fast elevator. I would say even the water elevator is much faster than this. So you have that as a con. And also because you're using these slime blocks, you need to be particular about how you build this so that the slime blocks don't get caught on anything else in your build. So this is a very, very simple design, like I mentioned before. And all we're really using is a flying machine to move between the floors. And this flying machine I have showed off many, many times. It is the basic flying machine. It is like the easiest flying machine to make. And I'm gonna make it just right over here for you guys. And I'll make it horizontal. This is how you normally see this flying machine. It starts off with 2 slime, then you take a piston, point it towards you, and then take an observer and just click it on that black block. Then you're gonna put down 2 more slimes on that sticky piston. By the way, these pistons do need to be sticky pistons. Put down another sticky piston facing towards you and another observer facing away. And there you go. That is the flying machine. You are done. How this flying machine works is that if you update this piston, it's gonna fly in that direction. So you can almost think of this as like a rocket. And if you're lighting the engine from this side, it's gonna go off in the other direction. And all you need to update it is just really any block, just place it down, and then it will start to fly. Now, in order to get it to stop flying, you do need some obsidian, or really any immovable block, like a furnace will work, or you know, there's a whole bunch of different things that will work. Then to get it to fly the other direction, all you need to do is update this, and just like it's a rocket, it'll go off in that direction. I kind of stopped it a little bit weird. Yeah, okay, 1 second, here we go. Let's do this again. Boop, there we go. And now it's gonna go in the other direction. So not only does this work horizontally, like we are showing right here, but it will work vertically as well. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna build up a few temporary blocks. We're gonna do the 2 pistons, like I was mentioning. We're gonna put down a sticky piston facing towards us. Oh, this is like getting upside down and weird. And put down a observer on that side. 2 more pistons, like I was mentioning before. Then we're gonna go to the other side and put down our sticky piston facing us, then an observer. And just like before, if we update this bad boy right here, boop, it's gonna go off in the correct direction. So we're gonna use this design to make our elevator, and you can easily see it. This is that design we're talking about. We're just adding 2 more slimes on top of it and some slabs just to kind of make it look like an elevator with a floor and a ceiling. And then all we're doing is using this redstone to update the observer down here. So literally all it's doing is sending a redstone signal, and because that redstone updated, it set off this piston. Then up here, we're using this piston to set off this observer, and it's just a normal piston. If it was a sticky piston, it would grab this slime, which we don't want. So it's just gonna push off in front of it, and then it goes back down. So let's go ahead and make it over here, and we're gonna start off with the flying machine. So we're just gonna put down these 2 slimes. Then we are gonna put down a sticky piston with an observer. 2 more slimes on top of that, then a sticky piston with an observer. Then we're gonna go up on top and we're gonna put down these 2 extra slimes. Now we just need a slab, not a slad, a slab, and this can be really any color, so maybe this would fit with your design. We're gonna put one at the top of that block. We're gonna leave some space, and then we're gonna put one at, I'm gonna put it right there. That way we have 2.5 blocks, and also that'll mean that whatever our platform is, it'll kind of blend in right there. Be aware that this block right here, that's obsidian, this will work if it's obsidian, but if it's any other type of block, this slime block will grab it. So you do want to either have it be air or something immovable like obsidian or a furnace or a chest or that sort of thing. Glazed terracotta, that would work just fine. Now we need to update this right here. So we're going to use redstone to do that down here. We're just going to grab a button, a little bit of redstone, and any type of block. We're going to use stone in this case, which I accidentally forgot to grab there. There we go. And you can hide this anywhere. I mean, this could literally be anywhere. You could put it on the top of this obsidian. You could put down some temporary blocks right there and then put it over here. But you can hide this however you want. If you want it to be on the floor, if you want it to be around, totally up to you. Do realize though that this is going to start moving. So if the button is, say, right here, that is not going to work. Okay, you're going to need to be one away from that area. Then we are going to grab the redstone line off of this, and we're going to come down here so that this observer will actually see what's going on. And there we go. Now we're going to put down redstone, 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 redstone. Now, when I put down this redstone, it's going to be in this block space, which this observer is looking at. So it's going to fire off. It's going to start heading towards the sky, which we do not want at the moment. Before we do that, we're going to want to put down obsidian right here so that when it comes back down, it'll hit this obsidian and stop and will not move again. Then we'd want to head all the way up to the sky to wherever we want our second floor to be. And just remember the spacing that we have created, okay? That is that these 3 blocks are going to be the top of the build. So if we wanted to, 1, 2, 3, then that would mean that our floor of the next level would have to be right here. So you're going to need to have 3 empty spaces for all that. And I'm just going to get rid of that. So now it'll land here. It has 1, 2, 3 empty spaces, and then the floor is right there on the 4th block. So that's how that is going to go, and we have the obsidian up there. So now we can send it up to the sky. So let's go ahead and put down our redstone. It'll activate, flying up there. Boop, there we go. That looks all perfect. Now we just need to have a way to update this. And the way I did this before was just to put down, remember that this won't work because our button will be in the way of those slabs moving back and forth. So we're going to put down this block just 1 set back, put a button on it, and then I'm going to use a normal piston, not a sticky piston, and that is going to go in front of the observer whenever it fires. So if we are standing here in the elevator and we push the button, that pushes in front of that observer, and we start to head down to the bottom level, and there we are. So now you have a very, very simple elevator, and you can use whatever you want in order to make this look prettier. You could move the button, you could add, the actual elevator shaft, you could add a tunnel, you could add whatever you want in order to make this design your own. So there you go, 3 very, very simple elevators for you to put into your Minecraft world. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it great and fascinating. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights, and even Let's Plays here on OMGcraft. And if you really, really love the channel and really want to support me, go the extra mile, there's 2 ways to do that. One is to become a member of the channel. That way you directly support me every single month. And the other is to buy merchandise at helloomg.com. That is hello, like knock knock, hello, OMG, like OMGcraft.com, and that's where you can find that's how you can find OMG Craft merchandise. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.